Hey, what's up, guys? Ken here from the Retro Tarscapades channel in Malaysia. I'm really happy to be joining you guys today for the second of my most anticipated figures from Wave 6 of Moto Origins, and this one is Stinkor. Now, before I get into the review, I do need to ask you guys to kindly take a moment to pause the video and just hit that red subscribe button at the end of the screen. Becoming a subscriber on the channel really helps me out and really helps the channel be able to deliver to you the content that you guys like and that I enjoy doing. So get to it, guys. Alright, guys, here's Stinkor, the evil master of odors. And it says here, product has real smell. It's fun. You know what? I can't wait to get into it and check out just how much fun this is supposed to be. Okay, back at the package, and you know what? If the stench of this figure doesn't take my breath away, then the jaw-dropping artwork on this package sure does. We've got Stinkor here, just tearing it up against Mossman in an all-out elemental assault. As it says here, the sickening foul stench of Stinkor can bring even the mightiest of Eternia's heroes to their knees. You know, it's great that Motu has these naturally paired up heroes and villains. It's like Stinkor is like this toxic, polluting monster, and Mossman is kind of like this elemental hero that protects the environment. So yeah, it's kind of like Toxic Avenger or Swamp Thing, I suppose. And it's great that they're kind of like naturally paired up against each other, sort of like how Fisto and Jitsu are. And you know, you kind of get the impression that if there ever was like a huge battle going on, and you know, no matter who's fighting it out with whom on the battlefield, that these two guys are just gonna find each other out on the battlefield. They'll be like, Stinkor, Mossman, and then they'll just go at it, okay, right then and there on the battlefield. But the historical animosity between the two of them dates back to even the classic mini-comic The Stench of Evil from the 80s, so it's great to see it reenacted here as well. Now, also on the card back, we get this image here of this individual, a kid, is it a girl, I suppose, and then it appears to be repulsed by Stinkor's foul odor. It says here, smell for odor attack. That's right. Okay, just put yourself in the line of fire. However bad this thing is going to smell, I don't know yet. But apparently, based on the expression on this person's face here, it's supposed to smell pretty bad. Okay. And then again, you know, I mean, I'm not really sure what sort of an expression this is. Person could just be trying to communicate with Stinkor, but it appears that the person here is actually repulsed. That's right. Okay, so this is interesting. They're really hyping this thing up. I can't wait to see just how bad the figure smells. Also, it says here that you can twist Stinkor into powerful battle positions. That's right, just twist it to powerful battle positions, because honestly, other than the smell factor and the shield, there's really not much else that you can do with the figure. Okay guys, there's no way that you can actually experience a smell-based toy through a video, but I'm going to try my best to actually describe it to you if I can once I get this guy out. And you know, if you find me sort of like gagging and choking, then you know that it's just too overpowering for me. But he's finally out, guys. Stinkor, the evil master of odors, live in the flesh. Now don't worry, my friends. You guys are safe. The stench can't get to you through the phone screen. But about that smell, honestly, I expected to be like overpowered by the time that I actually got this thing out of the package and, you know, got it freed up from the plastic. You know, I expected to be just overcome by this nauseous smell that it was advertised to have. But I gotta say, for real, not quite. Okay. Now, I put this thing up as close to my nose as I possibly could. There does appear to be a faint odor of something that smells like it could be, you know, maybe cheap cologne or, you know, something like... If I didn't know better, I'd just think that it probably smelled like plastic, but just maybe a bit ripened or something like that. But maybe if I got the armor off, okay, maybe if I got the armor off this thing, you know, maybe, you know, the smell would hit you more prominently. Yeah, maybe the armor's blocking the smell. Merman, is that you? Okay. Wow, this guy's ripping. It's like one ripped up looking skunk. Actually, not much of a difference. this thing isn't quite as what I thought it would be. You know, I'm not sure what I expected, especially because I never really had a fresh Stinkor figure. The one from the 1980s has clearly already lost its smell, I believe. But I expected this one to be something that was just like, ooh, just overpower me, and it didn't quite do that. All right. I don't have the reaction like that person that's on the card back. Okay, definitely not. Guys, look, seriously, I don't know. Is this some bullshit again? Okay, is this some bullshit? Because first I was like really disappointed by how easily the string to the grappling hook on Web Store snapped so easily. Okay, like literally with the slightest, just the barest suggestion of force, it just snapped. Okay, during the action feature, and now I've got Stinkor here, who doesn't quite smell the way that I thought they were supposed to. I don't know. Look, maybe I'm sure there's gonna be somebody in the comment section later who's gonna tell me like the original 1980s Stinkor also didn't really have such an overpowering smell, but I can't really be sure. Okay, because that thing's been like spoken about like the stuff of myths. Okay, people have been talking about it and hyping it up for so many years, and I really expected this thing to have a really strong stench to it. Okay, which it didn't deliver on at all right, you really have to put it very close to you, I think, to really get a smell of any kind. Look, maybe there was a point that they actually managed to get this thing to sort of like super stink, okay, to the point that people were actually going to be throwing up. All right, but they didn't want to risk having the product get recalled or face a lawsuit or something like that. But I just think that this thing could stand to smell a little bit stronger if it is what it's supposed to be. I don't know. I need more of you guys out there to actually get your hands on this Stinkor figure and let me know what the experience was like for you. But honestly, I'm gonna call it straight for what it is. Okay, this just seems like overhyped advertising BS because it does have a certain odor to it, but it doesn't function the way that I think most people would be coming into this figure expecting it to. Okay, so in that sense, this thing is it's a massive letdown for me. Now, Stinkor comes with one single accessory, which is this large blue shield. I gotta say that this thing is made out of pretty hard plastic. Okay, yeah, it's really sturdy, which is quite impressive. You get this thing fit onto his grip hand. I will say that I always felt that the shield was kind of a curious accessory for him. It felt like they were just throwing something in there because they needed him to hold something, and they kind of like maybe blew the entire manufacturing budget on supposedly trying to make him smell. It's the same case with the vintage figure, which also came with a shield. But I always thought that he would benefit from having the inclusion of a handheld weapon of some kind, like a gun that would shoot out the toxic pollutants, okay, emanating from his body. Just shoot it out in a more concentrated stream. But we didn't get that. Now, I am fortunate to have the original Stinkor figure from the 1980s here for this comparison shot. There are some people I've heard of who said that their Stinkor figure from the 80s still has the smell to it, but honestly, I've seen no evidence of this. Okay, my one just pretty much smells like plastic mostly. But there are some differences between the two figures. Most noticeably, the armor on the vintage one is made out of hard plastic. Okay, which is always great. And there are some design differences in the armor as well, quite faint, but they are there. And if you put the two figures side by side here, you can see that they both have very different paint applications on the face. The vintage one kind of looks a bit, maybe a bit confused, whereas the new one here has a more malicious looking expression, I would think, because of the way the paint is applied and the way the eyes are sculpted. He just looks way more evil, like just filled with bad intent. What do you guys think? Also, both shields have a huge size difference. It's like one's like the Death Star and one's like a tiny moon. Okay, the vintage one is really small, and it's actually made out of this soft, sort of like flexible plastic, like very rubbery plastic, whereas the new one is just really sturdy and huge. Okay, so in that sense, I think that the new accessory shield is a lot better, honestly. Okay, guys, so that's my look at the Wave 6 Moto Origins Stinkor figure. A fantastic update overall, I would think. I mean, it's a great addition to the ranks, but definitely a letdown in terms of what it was supposed to feature, a truly repulsive odor or a fun smell. You know, I mean, even if it was supposed to be fun, you couldn't really get much of it, okay? I think that Mattel kind of like really held back on delivering something that could have been so much more. Honestly speaking, maybe because they were afraid of complaints or things like that. But if you go into the toy department these days, if you go down to the sections of the toy department, you'll find entire shelves devoted to really disgusting stuff. Okay, like squeezy poop toys, okay, toys that look like poop, feel like poop. There's even a line of action figures where they use pop culture characters that sort of like designed to look like versions of poop, if you can believe that. Okay, but yeah, it's there. So I think they should have taken a little bit more of a risk in that sense. But overall, I think he's still a great addition to the team, and I hope that you guys out there manage to get your hands on him as soon as possible. Okay, guys. So that's the video. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments section. And you know what? I do appreciate your support. As always, last night's video, the review on Web Store, kind of like pulled in sort of like 1.5K views, I think, since it came out already. So, I do appreciate you guys turning up every time I put out a new video. Thank you for the support, and I'll catch you guys again real soon.